Citizens, what's up? It's President AWOL here on TGN Mobile, bringing you some Mobile Legends content. This is some of the first Mobile Legends content I'm bringing you on this particular channel. This is a game that I've just been playing a whole lot of, and this is an introductory video to the Minotaur, and I'll be using the Bursting Llama skin. And I've, at this point, played a decent number of ranked matches, and I've got at least a basic level of competency in this one. I've played a lot of MOBAs in my history as a gamer, League of Legends, and Heroes of the Storm, and Dota, etc. And this game is really, really fun. It's very simple, it's easy to play, it's got shorter games, and the community is taking off. Really loving this title. This is a tanking hero, and it's similar to like an Alistar or Alistair, however you pronounce that in League of Legends. Kind of reminds me of a Taric almost, the way that it feels, because it's a hybrid of tanking as well as support, which is something that I really love, and gives you a nice viable option that you can take into ranked, so that you can help support your team and carry your team and control the way team fights play out. Which is something that, as a tank, it's tough sometimes just to take damage and hope that your team stays alive, and they provide you with that nice carry damage as you move into late game. And with this particular hero, you can keep everybody up and running, you can control the fight, and you can sort of, hopefully, control your win rate a bit more with a tanking hero like this. Let me go into the kind of mechanics of this hero. It's based on like a rage mechanic. So as you, and that's what this is, rage mode. As you attack enemies, your Minotaur is going to become more enraged. And once you reach rage mode, you increase your armor and magic resist with this hero. And essentially, once you hit rage mode, it'll also enhance your abilities, your other abilities that I'm going to go over in a minute. And don't worry, I'm going to take this into some gameplay and show you how all of this looks. And what I mean by that is abilities like Despair Hammer, you're essentially going to spin in a circle, and you're going to deal damage in front of you, and it's going to lower attack speed by 65%. But if you're in rage mode, you have a bigger range for this ability to work. So you're essentially going to want to hit a lot of minions or hit the initial hero when you're moving into a team fight, boost up that rage mode. Once you're raged, you spin and use this hammer, you slow everybody, and then you're going to move in and use your ultimate, Minoan Fury, which allows you to strike the ground. You deal damage to everybody in that area, plus bonus true damage on top of that, which essentially means that you're going to cut through their armor, that type of thing. And it's going to lower movement speed even further. And if you are in rage mode, which you're going to want to be in rage mode, engaging in almost every team fight if possible, you're going to deal an extra attack, and you're going to pop everybody up for that nice kind of crowd control CC element to this tank, which is beautiful. But the support element, which is actually my favorite part of this particular hero, is the motivational roar, which is similar to like an Alistar. And you're going to heal yourself and give your allies 50% healing. And if you're in rage mode, there's a regen effect that kicks in, allowing you to regen HP after taking damage, which gives you kind of more sustainability. So it's all about managing your rage bar, engaging at the right times, crowd controlling the enemies, and just being ridiculously tanky and really controlling the fight. And having the combination of CC and tankiness and support, I feel, gives you a lot more control as a tank in MOBAs. It's difficult sometimes as a tank to be able to get a guaranteed win rate, or at least a higher win rate with your teammates. Being able to keep your teammates alive and really control combat in a way that you don't see with other tanks and other MOBAs and this MOBA really helps, because you aren't necessarily going to get consistent support picks in this game, so you're kind of like a off support, if you will, with this particular tank. So the gear set that I'm using for this is that I'm going to be showing you in this video is a kind of pre-made gear set. And it contributes even more to that tankiness and support element that I was talking about a moment ago. With your cursed helmet, you're going to be dealing damage to folks that are in the area around you, damage per second, 2% of your max HP, which your max HP is really, really huge. You're going to have this cooldown reduction so that you can use your abilities very, very often. You're not going to be limited by things like mana with this hero, so you can just constantly spam your moves, spam your heal, which is beautiful. And as you kind of move later into the game, whenever you're being attacked, you're going to regen HP and get more cooldown reduction, so you can spam your abilities even more. And the bulwark here is that nice sort of area of effect buff for your team, which increases their attack and defense by 10%. So you're going to be hopefully alive for as long as possible, keeping everybody up and running, giving them defense, giving them attack. And when folks attack you with this Demon's Advent, you're going to reduce their attack power, kind of debuffing the enemy team as you're being really disruptive. And as you move into late game, as kills occur and as you're moving in from kill number 1 and kill number 2 to maybe finishing off the team, you're going to need to heal up in a nice burst heal, if you will. So getting a kill or assist is going to give you 20% of your HP and keep you kind of pushing forward and hopefully being that unstoppable force that's pushing through the enemy team. Lots of cooldown reduction here. It's really good stuff. And as far as my abilities that I'm using with this hero, I like using Healing Spell, giving that extra healing to your team, keeping them up and running. 15% for you, 15% for your allies, up to 15% for your allies. And as far as emblems are concerned, I'm definitely using the tank emblem set, which gives you armor, magic resist, HP. Haven't gotten the cooldown reduction element of this yet, but as I continue to level it up, that should kick in. So that's the basic gist. I'm going to just take this into a matchup mode here, because I just want to show you the abilities, show you how I'm thinking about this tank, and yeah, should be really fun. While we're at it, we're just going to open a free chest. Getting in chests in this game, if you're not familiar, you get XP, battle points, emblems, etc., which allow you to level up those various things that allow you to kind of custom build your hero and, you know, essentially enhance various elements of your heroes as you're moving forward. And it's a big part of the progression in this game is being able to tap into all those prep elements. And you know, as your emblem sets level up, it actually makes a significant difference in your power. So it can give you that sense of progression rather than having all of the progression just being, hey, I'm getting a higher rank in this game, and I'll probably get a little bit of rewards from having a higher rank. It's similar to something like a Star Wars Force Arena or what have you, where, you know, you're getting cards and leveling up your cards, that kind of thing. And I like the fact that in this game you've got, you know, you've got that kind of strategic element on the back end as you're building your hero, and it's something that I feel like it could make for some really good videos, talking about the strategy behind all of that. Cool, so let's go ahead and pick our hero. Here it is. And we've got our skin. We've got the Bursting Yama skin. Make sure we choose the Healing Spell as our battle spell. We've got the Team Buff equipment scheme. And our emblem set, we've got Tank. And let's go ahead and lock and load this. And, you know, one thing to keep in mind is with these skins, they actually make you better, which is sort of a pay-to-win element, I guess you get to say. You can earn these skins just by playing the game. You don't have to necessarily use crystals in all cases, which is the paid currency in this game. But the skins do enhance your power. So keep that in mind, and that definitely incentivizes players to want to go after skins. To my knowledge, once you unlock one skin, you'll get the kind of benefit of having a skin moving forward, which is pretty cool. 100 HP makes a big difference early game, but as you move into like mid game and late game, it's not as much of a difference. So on our team, we've got Alpha here, which is going to do some nice damage, as well as Clint is going to do damage. We've got a second tank here with Tigreal, which is the other tanking option I've been playing around with, and I'll bring you another video about that one. Cool. So let's go ahead and see if we can tag along with maybe a bit more of a vulnerable kind of damage character. You're going to want to pair up with somebody no matter what you do early game, and I'm going to maybe run mid. I'm going to look to pair up with some kind of DPS. So as we kind of shift around lanes, I'm going to want to be there so that they can get that benefit from my motivational roar. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Go ahead and heal up constantly. Looks like they've got two mids, so this is the perfect situation for us. And we're up against a fighter as well as a range DPS, and the hope here is because we have this supporting ability, we will be able to keep our DPS up longer than theirs, assuming that we don't get bursted down at some point, that kind of thing. And I'm just going to blow my healing spell early, and just doing minimal amounts of heals, but as you can see, I can keep my DPS topped off. And as we move into late game, with the bulwark in place, you'll be able to really increase the amount of sustainability that your team has. And keeping this ally topped off is going to let her to sort of pressure the enemy team a bit more, which is gorgeous. We don't want to get too close to that tower. Oof, almost got that pick. Can we get the pick? There it is. And continuing to heal. My ally just stays up with that amazing HP and is really, really sustainable. I'm going to pick up boots super, super early, and I'm going to use my regen to make sure I'm topped off. And with those boots that increase move speed, that's going to allow me to basically move in with my despair hammer and get a bit more work done there. And looks like they're jungling, so I'm going to go ahead and help them take out this jungle, give them a quick heal, and move back into the lane. And generally speaking, with this Minotaur, you're going to ag along with the DPS. That's generally what you want to do. I've seen a lot of people go kind of like go kind of rogue, if you will, and like try to chase people down, which you can do a pretty decent job of chasing people down with this hero and getting kills, but you're not going to be able to perform anywhere near as consistently that way. I'm not wanting to leave this lane right now, and it looks like our top was able to handle their own business there. And if you're not familiar, everybody's got regen here, which it's interrupted if you take damage, so you don't have to necessarily go back to your base as often to heal up, do recall. And so the idea is here, especially early game, you're going to want to pick up as much momentum as possible and farm as often as possible to hopefully get a early game advantage, so that when you move into mid game, you can start to get that momentum, you can start to crush the jungle. And in this game, instead of like a dragon, there's a turtle that pops up over here. Instead of a baron, there's a lord over here. Similar mechanics to League of Legends. Looks like my allies are taking the jungle. So I'm going to make sure I stay here in this lane and I soak this gold, and I'm doing a little bit of damage so that our turret doesn't take unnecessary damage. And looks like the enemy's getting pretty aggressive, so I'm going to use my regen here and just make sure that I'm staying up and running. Just keeping that in-lane presence. Unfortunately, it looks like they interrupted my heal, but as you can see, my healing ability does a significant amount of healing, which is good stuff. And I could probably be doing a better job, and I need to start thinking about that, of spamming my abilities, because I don't have to worry about mana. I just can spam all day, and it's all about, that's why cooldown reduction is built into this build. So we're just going to stick around here, and we're going to wait for enemy teams to stack in one lane or the other. I think I saw 2 or 3 there in the bottom lane, so I'm going to be very, very careful. I don't like being on my own with this tank. I'm nowhere near as useful. I don't get anywhere near as much utility out of this hero when I'm by myself. So I'll stick around for now, but I would prefer that this, like, it looks like it's a laning, like, semi-jungle type of build. And I'm going to go ahead and pressure here. Now that my allies moved into place, they get it. They realize that I can't handle all of this by myself. And as you can see with that red stuff coming off of me, that's the way I look when I'm in rage mode with this character. And at that point, that's when you're wanting to spam your abilities, like I said earlier. And you see these little pop-ups of the enemy's icons here above my abilities in the bottom right. I kind of turn that on. That's an option you can turn on in the game. It's this like hero lock function, so that if you do want to lock on to a particular hero and you want to focus them, you can click that. You'll see like a little red icon come up above their head. And it helps you focus, given that you don't have a mouse and keyboard control. It allows you to focus stuff, especially when you're playing on your mobile phone. It might be difficult to click, or you may be like attacking the wrong unit. And as you can see, I can click this. There's now an arrow over their head, and it allows me to basically enhance my targeting, given that you just have 2 thumbs essentially on your device. I'm using a tablet. 2 thumbs on your device, it allows you to make that happen a little bit better. So I recommend turning that option on if you're interested. I believe that's in the advanced controls. So far so good. Our team is 5-0. So we have kind of an early game advantage here. Getting popped up. I'm going to take some damage, which is fine. And they're wanting to 1v1 me. I'm not going to be able to 1v1 that effectively, which is a reason why I'm going to back up here. And I'm just going to regen and just continue to soak. And sometimes that's the way things play out in a MOBA. And what I've learned is if you get impatient in a MOBA, you'll probably lose. So you definitely want to make sure that anytime you're engaging, or most of the time that you're engaging, you're picking spots where your allies are there and you have that supporting damage, because this build is definitely not built for damage. And I want to be very careful against this fighter. He can potentially pull us back towards this turret, or like if we accidentally damage him, he can the turret will definitely focus us, which is really, really problematic. And look, there's really, really big pressure here from this deeps in this lane. So I'm gonna just stick around and support her, and hopefully I'll be able to show like a good team fight here shortly. And with that team fight, hopefully you'll be able to see me do like a big pop-up type of scenario where I get that bonus rage damage and I'm crushing fools. So you can see the benefit of those big team engagements. So far so good in this one though, and keep in mind this is not ranked, right? This is just for funsies, and people will, you know, just be trying out heroes, so they aren't necessarily going to be showing their best here. And what we'll do is I'll use my ultimate pop up, and as you see, he had no chance to escape in that situation. I'm going to use my healing spell as well to keep my allies up and running. I'm now taking that big fat, I think it's true damage from the structures. I want to make sure that I'm not sustaining that for too long. Even as one of the most tanky characters in the game, you definitely don't want to be taking that damage for a significant period of time. I'm going to regen and kind of hang back for a moment and then heal up my ally, keep them up and running, and it looks like they have this big early game pressure. And as you can see, there is the potential in this game for games to be relatively short. I've had games that run like 10 minutes, which is great for a mobile game. Oh, pop them up! There we go. And picking up the double as a result. And as you can see, because I was in rage mode, I had that extra attack, I had that pop-up element, and that helped us secure the kill there, especially when you've got a melee ally with you. Their ability to just constantly slow and pop up and disrupt is incredibly effective. So I want to attack the Lord, which is the Baron-like mechanic in this game. And we'll see if my allies want to come along with me. Maybe it's a little bit too early for that. Maybe they won't want to do it, but I like doing an early game aggressive Lord, and they should let me tank this damage. And when you're on Lord, you want to make sure that you're constantly spamming your abilities as much as possible, and hopefully we don't get this stolen. It looks like our allies are in the top there, or the enemies rather, in the top lane, dealing with all of that. Time to regen as we move up to that lane. We want to move into this engagement. Oops, misused my ability there. And we're just going to continue to pursue. I'm not in rage mode yet. Once I get into rage mode, this is the opportunity for me to really run in and to really be aggressive. So let's see if we can make something happen here. I'm going to show you like a sick pop-up here. Pop, pop, pop. Look how disruptive that was. That's crazy. But unfortunately, I'm being focused by the tower, which means that I need to back up, of course. And what we'll do is just we're going to spam our healing spell here. I'm calling it spam. We're going to just use our ability. And I have taken a significant amount of damage, which means that I'm not going to be anywhere near as useful as I would normally be. So this is the time where you want to hang back. And this is a mistake that I think a lot of Minos players will make, is you know, as soon as you get some momentum, you decide to move in, you decide to get overly aggressive, and when you're less than 70% HP, you aren't anywhere near as useful as a tank in MOBAs as you would normally be. So there you go. Sweet, I got myself some nice battle grade action, some EXP, and hopefully that gives you just a quick glimpse as to what the usefulness of this hero is. I got less gold than a lot of my allies, got more than Tigreal though, and I find that this hero is better at kind of managing a lane, farming a lane, than Tigreal is, but Tigreal has a bit more of a CC element, a crowd control element with a stun and the whole nine. But I find this hero to be extremely fun, extremely useful, and extremely new player friendly, which is why I'm bringing this to you. One thing I want to show you too is you can save your recordings in this game, and you can go back and just watch it or do commentary later, which is something that I feel is really missing from games like Star Wars Force Arena and others, for you to be able to share your gameplay, for YouTubers to be able to give tips and that kind of thing. And that's something that's already built into this game, which is freaking amazing. Anyway, that's the basic Minotaur overview. It's just an introduction to the Minotaur. I'm probably going to make a video on my personal channel about this hero as well, because I just want to show this hero because I think it's great for new players to get started with this one. And speaking of which, I'm going to throw an avatar above my head. That's going to be a link to my personal channel. I'll have more Mobile Legends content, Star Wars Force Arena stuff there. I'm going to throw some videos over here as well. We're doing lots of mobile gaming content on this channel. Clash Royale, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Star Wars Force Arena, maybe even Pokemon Go. We're looking to smite rivals. We've got the whole nine. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, citizens. Adios.